Hello YouTube, this is DocFirst1 and today we are going to talk about how to perhaps do the interior of the Starfarer differently. I hope CRG will listen a little bit to this. We're just going to spitball and talk. With me I got a few of the viewers who hangs out on my channel. I got Asnog, I got Astrofarmer, and Commander J. Shepard is with me here on Discord. And we're going to go through and talk about each part of the ship and hopefully give you guys some ideas as to what we, the users and fans of this amazing ship, the Starfarer, thinks about it. Okay? So first, we got the entryway here, which I personally think is a part of the interior because it allows you the access to the interior. And I think I'm gonna include go to the other entryway afterwards as well. So we got a very steep ramp here, which in my mind
needs grip tape.
That, and there's going to be an issue because once you get up here, if you are running a four-wheeled vehicle and you're going to have something lifted, you're going to need to get up here before you can even go down. And that's where my biggest issue is the height of this airlock. I'm like, it's not good for getting cargo in. It needs to be higher. It's wide enough, but it's definitely not tall enough to get large boxes inside. If you got something wheeled coming up, it's gonna have trouble.
Do me a favor, Doc. Look down at the ramp. Sorry, I'm waiting for the delay. So
yeah, so on the ramp itself.
Yeah, but if you look down at the ramp, where it says caution, keep clear, and like maybe that first couple of sections that's light green that's got the rivets on it. If when you're coming up the ramp in a vehicle, when you get there, if that section of the ramp pivoted, it tilted up and
could
was
go flat
and was flat with the deck of the cargo hold,
then I
that
kind of like that
that
idea.
would give you the extra clearance to.
Yeah. So one option, as Commander Shepard just said, is to get the ramp to, once you are holding on it, it will flip up and then you can drive in straight away. That's a very good solution actually, without requiring the height. But I do like the extra height as well, so it means you can get a bit larger vehicles inside, because I do think that this cargo hold should be able to hold vehicle. So that's my thinking.
What kind of vehicle?
What kind of vehicles? Well, at least the rover, and considering how wide this thing is, I'm thinking a bit taller vehicles as well.
Like I don't know because we haven't driven it around yet, but I think the Ursa rover would just barely fit through that door height-wise.
Yeah, but that's the thing, barely.
Yeah, but what else? I mean, I've been out of the Star Citizen game for a few months now with school. So are there other vehicles on the?
Nothing yet. They haven't told us about anything yet. But if you're thinking in a realistic standpoint, which is what they're going for, right? They want numerous different kind of vehicles. So we're probably going to have more combat-oriented vehicles as well, which means they're going to be taller because of the armor, the clearance, and stuff like that, right? And what I'm thinking here is, normally, even cargo crates, you would want tall cargo crates for storing taller equipment, and there's room in here for storing tall cargo crates.
Well, you just gave me a good idea because you're talking about combat vehicles. I agree with you. I agree with you that. I mean, we don't even have any other combat vehicles, right? But I agree with you that doorway, that airlock should be taller. The opening should be taller, because if for some reason you're in a Starfarer and you have your Ursa rover parked in there, and you need to come out. But let's say there's infantry or ground troops or bad guys or pirates or whatever on the ground and they're waiting for you. You want to come out, guns blazing.
Well, that's the thing.
And the guns on the Ursa rover are size 2, and they live on the side of the vehicle. But when they're deployed for firing, they rotate up to the roof.
Yes, but that's not needed on the Starfarer when the Starfarer is in a gunship mode, because the Starfarer got these two guns here in the back covering, which is one of the reasons why I'm advocating the Gemini can actually be an okay dropship. So I don't see the need for that in particular. I'm more thinking standard cargo, which is probably more what it's going to be used for, and it needs to be taller.
Well, I think that you need it. I mean, if you turn around and face that gun for a second, I'm not aware of this, but if you face the tail gun, does it does it aim at the door? Can it aim at the door, or is it obstructed?
If you technically remove the barrels, which are supposedly removable, yes.
So that's the turret right there?
No, the turrets are in that direction that I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, at the end of the ship there, at the end of the catwalk.
Yeah, there are 2 turrets on each side.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if it can face the door, like if there was somebody waiting for you right there at the bottom of the ramp, then yeah, that's great. It's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
cannot. It's blocked by the fuel tanks.
Yes, but the fuel tanks are supposed to be removable. That's the thing. So, but let's go on with the interior, not talk about the exterior. But yeah, I think personally this should be higher because cargo and vehicles and stuff like that should be able to enter more instead of only small things. It doesn't make sense to have it smaller. Anyone else got input on the door?
I think it actually fits quite well because all the cargo is going to be standard crate size. So I don't think we'll have any cargo crates that's much taller than the door. And I don't think that's what it's intended for.
Well, the thing is, standard crate size, well, we've seen them in all sorts of sizes, right? They're just going to be able to fit together in a kind of puzzle, which goes to saying that you're probably going to get cargo crates that's going to be larger than one standard crate. So you're going to have 2x2s and stuff like that. And that's what I mean. When you got a tall cargo room like this, it makes no sense to not have a door that allows tall crates to come in as well.
Yeah, or stacks of crates. I agree with you. It would be a lot more convenient that way if the door was as tall as the ceiling.
Or at least halfway there, but it's not even half. It's like, 1/3, I think. So it definitely needs to be taller.
Do you think the CIG intentionally made that door that size so that people could not use the Starfarer to transport ships?
Maybe. It's very likely. They also told me in a reply that they are not going to change the door size of the Starfarer just because of the Ursa rover. The Ursa rover is only going to be fitted to the Constellation class, and that's the only thing that's going to be changed to fit it.
Well, they didn't do a good enough job as it is, because I personally hauled 2 Merlins to do the ICC missions in a Starfarer.
But I don't mind being able to get ships in. I want to be able to get gear in. And I'm thinking industrial-wise here. It is an industrial ship, and if you're going to be able to remove the back canisters here and put on cargo crates and haul cargo inside the ship as well, which it has a lot of room for, it definitely needs a bigger door. But let's go on to the second entry, because I just want to do a quick point on this one as well. And to those in chat, yes, I'm not going to respond to you right now because we are recording for YouTube. So if anyone else is wanting some response, please say hello from me and tell them that. So we got this door here, which basically has no ladder from down below. Did it just speed close? Yeah. Okay. So basically we got this door, which is almost just opposite. Yeah, it's an airlock. But the thing is, you can't enter it from below. Unless you are in 0G, and currently with the current game mechanics, in pure luck, you can't get in, even in 0G. But there's like no ladder.
Yeah,
here.
There should be a ladder or a one-person lift.
Yes. Just like in other ships, like the Caterpillar or the Constellation class, it needs a lift. It needs a second entry, especially for an industrial ship. If something is loading here and gets stuck, you need a second entry to get in. There's no doubt about it. So for that part, the entryways needs more. Any other ideas, guys, for the entryways? Sounds like that it. Okay, so let's talk about the cargo hold. Yes, the cargo hold here. I like there's seat for 12 people, 6 here, 6 on the other side. That for me says you can transport a lot of people, you can transport Marines, if you want to do dropship kind of style, or you can just transport passengers, workers, depending on what you want to do, right? So definitely a good thing. I like the seating. I would like to see seating options modular over here as well, so I can get more people is also here, or perhaps even a seating module you can put in here.
I was thinking seating modules that you could use to fill up the entire left and right side of the cargo bay.
Definitely agree.
Like theater seats, like rows and rows of seats, so that you can transport troops.
Yeah.
And leave the center just for big cargo.
I had a similar thought. You know, like when you're in your hangar and you can look at the ground and you can plop down a piece of hangar flare or a ship or whatever in the little circle on the floor. But you can do that same thing all the way up and down the left and right side.
Yeah, there needs to be a lot more modularity in here. I mean, a lot of this is definitely things you need to get to, but this over here, the nettings on the other side, you could easily install seats there, and you need to be able to use that netting for something. So yeah, and also these things, the connections here, red connections that are all the way through, which is the same as the door, makes me think, oh, this should be modular, so you could take out this entire center and put in something else. But that's just a quick thought when I saw it the first time, or a bulkhead that could probably drop down beneath, but yeah, probably not.
I've got a little nitpicky thing for the cargo hold. It's nitpicky for sure, but it just makes all the sense in the world to me.
Okay.
The cargo hold should have at least 2, if not 3 or 4, usable fire extinguishers in it.
Oh,
Agreed.
yes. Yes, let's see. Is there even anything? Are there any fire extinguishers? No.
Or like a fire extinguisher system or something, like an overhead system.
Well, there's definitely an overhead system up there. It's venting smoke and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely need some fire extinguishers. But yeah,
FPS combat gaming trivia question for bonus points. Give me a combat use for a fire extinguisher.
Oh, blindness. What's
Did you say blindness?
Yeah, blinding people.
Awesome.
Bludgeoning.
Awesome. I was going to say smoke grenade, but yeah.
Yeah, that's the same thing. You can fire it up and throw it in or whatever you want to do. There's so many things
or
you can
blow
do.
it up and boom. You can shoot it and you've got this huge
Yeah,
cloud.
I'd probably not count on that happening. I'd probably be the safe one and just press the trigger and throw it in.
Yeah, but we could ask CIG to do it, right?
Oh,
Make the fire extinguishers explodable.
Oh yeah, even just some smoke, that would actually be a really cool thing.
Think about that. If there's fire extinguishers all over the place, think about how that would affect Star Marine right now.
So you could just boom, and then once that goes off, you can go in the room and stuff. I kind of like that, but let's not get sidetracked today. I like your thinking.
The interior.
I like your thinking though. But yes, this needs a lot more modularity, considering it's a very industrial ship that is mass produced. Definitely needs something else for the cargo hold with more seatings, more options, and stuff like that. And that brings us along to, I'd say, this hallway. And kind of the other hallways as well. But let's start with this one. So you got this hallway running back to the supposedly extra airlock, right? And apparently there's supposed to be 2 spacesuits here. But that's it. It's gonna be spacesuits, right? Yeah, that's the spacesuit, not the emergency things. But so you got this hallway.
That would be a great place if they got rid of that airlock to just put an escape pod.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Okay, it's okay to put spacesuit here, but this is not a main airlock. It's not supposedly the way they've designed the ship to be a main airlock. And I'd rather have escape pods near the cargo bay here. I mean, that's a lot better to me. But first, this hallway here. So we got this hallway which has a lot of unused space. And I'm thinking, instead of doing a hallway, couldn't you have done something a little more useful? I don't know if it's going to be consoles or more cargo space or something, or even seating. Like push the pipes up a bit further. They're already getting pushed up. So just push them up a bit higher, and you can technically have people or something lying down here. It could be emergency cots, it could be an emergency room, something like that. Because if you put move these up here, you technically have room for people to be treated on the ground.
I was just gonna. You just gave me the idea. That room that you're in right now, that would make a good a trauma room, like the gurneys fold out of the bins there along the walls and
there, or even just sleeping cots for the people who are sitting in these 12 seats, right?
Yep.
Like a small place where they can go, because if you just move these things up, like this is an emergency locker, right? You don't need emergency gear technically here. It could be moved down to this room in the end. And then you can have either trauma room or a sleeping room for those who are sitting in here and stuff like that. It could be more versatile. And
yeah, I think emergency med bay sounds really good.
Emergency or just sleeping room that could be converted into that. I'd love that idea. Because technically, those things don't need to be this low, do they? No, not really. It could probably be moved up here instead. But yeah. So definitely convert this into something else, because there's way too many hallways, and you don't have this many hallways on an industrial ship. You don't. Not without any use. So that leads us into this room, which in my mind, why not just skip it and convert it into a medic bay or something instead? Just totally medic bay. When now we are converting it, and just drop the airlock down here and move it upstairs instead. There's more than enough room upstairs to make an extra airlock, and you actually only need one on an industrial ship.
Yeah, the airlock you can't actually get into from space.
Exactly, but we're gonna come to that. So yeah, my entire opinion is discard this room and either make it an escape pod room or make it a medic bay or something else, because you're on an industrial ship, people get hurt. You're on a military ship, people get hurt. You need a medic bay. This ship do not have a medic bay. It needs to have it. Even if it's a small one, it needs to have something. So that's definitely my opinion. It needs to have something here. What else would you guys like to see this being used as?
If you weren't going to use it for a med bay, an armory.
An armory? I can see that.
An armory, and leave the airlock there, because if you're landed, that airlock is not terribly far from the ground, so you can grab a weapon and drop out the bottom of the ship.
Okay. I can see that. So yeah, there you go, CIG. Multiple new uses for this room.
Just add a ladder to it so you can actually get in.
Oh yeah.
Actually, no. If we're gonna make it an armory, then it should have an elevator, like the elevator on the Constellation. It should have an elevator, but when the elevator descends, it should have armor plates on 3 sides, so that while the elevator is coming down, you're not getting shot in the face.
Well, technically you shouldn't ever, but yeah, I like the modularity option. That would actually be cool if you could change them. So now we have this hallway here and stairs that leads up to the first floor. I'm quite okay with that, because, well, it's a working ship, you need some good stairs and stuff like that. And then you come... So I don't really have anything extra to say to that. Do you guys?
I can't think of anything.
Okay, good. And then we come into... Let's start with the back thing here. So this is kind of an airlock. So you come in here, you've been working, or you come from the cockpit or upstairs, and you've been working, and you go in here, and there's no space chute locker. But there's a door that leads right into space. I'm like, why would you even have this? You got one right upstairs, and we'll get into that one as well, but this, like, why would you even have this here?
What is that?
It's technically an airlock.
M30, what is that?
Yeah, it's technically an airlock that leads to outside.
No. Not the door. It says M30 on the left and right side of the door. Those big bulkhead-looking things that jut out of the wall.
I'm guessing, because they're in all the airlocks, so I'm guessing it's something that allows recycling of the atmosphere. But that's just a guess. But that's the only thing. Yeah, we see clouds coming out here. So yes, I'm guessing it's something for pulling in or giving out atmosphere.
So recycling the air, yeah.
Yeah.
It would be a good spot considering this room opens to space. There should be spacesuit lockers in here, yeah.
Yeah, like either right outside or here, because or else there's no reason why you would enter here if there's no spacesuits nearby, right? And why have 3 airlocks on this ship, like 3, and the back door as well? So yeah, I'm not really. No, this is wasted space, really wasted space, in my opinion. So we could definitely reclaim that, and that leads me into this one. So here we got a walkway, right? And there's an equal same walkway on the other side, which does not need to be there. You could reclaim that entire side and use it for something else. Like, so if we say this side here, we'll keep that because it's got stairs up and stuff like that. So we take the other side of the cargo hold, right? So we got this entire platform and this entire back thing here, corner, and this place here, which now can be repurposed either for more cargo space or something else. So you got options now for workspaces, workbenches. You could do the medic bay up here, trauma things. You have so many options if you reclaim this space, because on an industrial ship you do not need this walkway. You do not need this area. Like, I don't even know why they made it like that. Sure, it's a good thing for an FPS game, but this is not meant to be an FPS thing, even though it's a cool thing. Thoughts? What do you guys think?
I'm in agreement.
Total agreement. Well, let's say so. But yeah, this space here, reclaim it for something else, man. There's so many things it can be used for. But on an industrial ship, fuck no. Since no one else has any extra to comment, let's... I don't think we can go deeper into this, so let's dig out of that. This. Again, I like the escape pods. And there's 6, and there's room for 7 people. So definitely a good thing. But I do like the escape pods, but we're on an industrial ship where space matters, right? You fill up that space with something. Why is it like this wide? I mean, that does not make sense. Why would you make something this wide? You can have a whole lot of gear standing here, people, workstations, even the trauma room again. Except I wouldn't have it here because it's a bit difficult to get to. Downstairs would be better because that's where the accidents happen. Not in here, most likely. But yeah, there's so many things you can do with that wide space.
Well, this is another room where it's one of those situations where you would need some place to have spacesuits because there's escape pods but no suits.
Mm-hmm. Well, the escape pods technically don't need the suits because you're probably hoping to get picked up. And that's actually when I was talking to the guy who were helping them work on the Cutlass Red, he said there will be a force field on the back door. And the tractor beam will be able to pull in the escape pod through that door so people don't need to have a spacesuit on. So that's one reason why not to have a spacesuit. And besides, do you want to spend time getting in the spacesuit or just launching the escape pod if your ship is about to blow?
Well, see, here's my theory. If you're not in a spacesuit and you get into this pod and you're jettisoned out into space, what if a meteor hits or you take a shot or something like that? You lose pressure.
Yeah, but then there hopefully will be a spacesuit inside this pod.
True.
So that's
hope.
Yeah, but that's the way I would go if I were designing the escape pod anyway. I would put in a spare little spacesuit or something, if that's an option in this technology. But yeah, definitely needs something else. But yeah, the way they're designed looks like to be basically bare bones. It's like, get in here, you can survive for a little while and that's it. But yeah, the space itself, I think it needs to be used better. Like, this is luxury.
I think the escape pods need a minibar.
That too. But yeah, this is way too luxurious. This is not a good design of an industrial ship to have that much wasted space. But yeah.
Right down the center of the room, between the doorways.
Yeah.
Like right there on that pad that you're looking at on the floor. Right there could be 4 spacesuit lockers back to back, right in the middle of the room.
Like right in the middle. That would be actually rather nice.
Yep.
Or gear, weapons, spacesuits, whatever you float your boat. Yeah, I like that idea actually.
Or maybe
Nice.
they even come up out of the floor.
It's probably going to be wasted space because down below is the other hallway.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's an option. Besides, what if they break on the way up so you can't get to the gear? Yeah, kind of suck.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's more than enough room to walk up this way and then go into the middle. I mean, there's no reason not to use that space. So that was that. The cockpit, not really having that much to say about it. I would like
Except for
foldable.
clean
Needs a bigger
windows.
canopy.
Yeah, these windows. Like whenever I buy a new ship, I'm gonna take the best diamond fork and I'm gonna go ham on the windows for 2 hours every time I get a new Starfarer. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But yeah, seriously, this gotta go, man.
Yeah, these windows need to be a lot bigger.
And you need, well, I can live the tightness because it's technically you're gonna go down into a storm planet when you're gonna dive for fuel. So I'm okay with it being small to keep integrity.
Then it needs like skylights or T-tops or something, because I mean the visibility is shit.
Well, so again, I can live with that. But yeah, it would be nice to get bigger, but I can live with it from a technical standpoint.
Yeah, it's not meant to be a fighter or anything.
It's on purpose they've limited the visibility, and I can go into the understanding of it and live with that. But I need some fold-down seat for visitors to the bridge to sit down and stuff like that would be nice too. But anyways, I don't have much to the bridge, do you guys? Beside the window?
Not really, just those windows.
It just seems like there's a lot of wasted space between the stations in the back and the pilot seats in the front. It seems like from front to back of the cockpit, they could have made it half that size and it would still work.
Exactly. There is a lot of wasted space. I mean, all this part here, you don't use this window. The only thing you can see from this window is a tip of a gun anyway. So this entire wall here could be converted into data centers, info panels, all sorts of things. So
Or you could stick a weapons rack in between that console and that window or something.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, you just said info panels. That gave me an idea. Remember we were talking about the stairs coming up from the cargo hold? At the top of the stairs on that corner wall, that big corner wall where it's just dark in that corner, there could be a really big ship status display there.
Yeah, that would be nice. That actually reminds me. Let's quickly go back here. So, this cargo bay here is depressurized at times, right? Let's say we're in space and have that one open. I'd like to see a big warning sign, warning, depressurized on the other side and stuff like that when you get here. Like this isn't an airlock door, right? So this will also depressurize at some point. If I go and open this, then this area here is depressurized. So there needs to be a warning depressurized at other sides as well. We need info panels about that.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely.
Or at least like a double verification that you want to open that door. Like if you're standing there in the hallway and you're at that doorway right there, if you're going to go out there, but the back door is open, the cargo bay is depressurized, you've got the void of space out there. When you go to open the door with the use function, you should get a context pop-up, something that tells you, like with the new UI, the 2.0, that tells you beyond this door is depressurized. Are you sure?
Yeah, I think they're gonna have that in, but I want it visually too, so I don't even try to open the door as long as I see that, because then it's gonna lead to explosives and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely some more visual panels. Okay, so let's head upstairs. So again, we got stairs here, and again up here, a big panel here in the corner. Actually, I think that would be sweet. So let's think this over, right? Let's go down to the bottom real quick, and let's talk this through. So I'm visiting this huge industrial ship, and a lot of people have issues finding their way around, right? So why not, as you said, have a status panel right here or up here? As soon as you're actually here, when you enter, it will show you a ship layout, status of the ship, where you are on the ship, and where you can go. And if something is void or other things, right? That would be lovely. And then when you get the same thing, when you get up here to the other stairs, you get the same thing again. You get a ship status panel and where you can go from here. What do you guys think? Would that be a cool thing?
Yeah, I think it would be good. At the very least, it should show you which areas of the ship are depressurized.
And where you are currently and where you can go right now.
Yep.
Okay, so that's a good thing. So now we come to one of the biggest annoyances I have. Okay, so we are up from the stairs here, and we are at the other area, which is basically a big center hallway that leads to multiple areas, right? So let's start by describing this layout. So you come up here, and you can turn left right here, and you could go upstairs again to the living quarters. That's pretty good. I like that. Definitely, it's behind the door, in case of depressurizations and stuff like that, right? You can go down here, which leads you to another area of the ship, right? And then you have this connecting hallway. And if you turn left again, it leads you upstairs, where you have the living quarters. Or if you turn to the right, it leads you down to the other area of the ship, which is the same thing as that one over here. So you basically got half of this space is wasted. It can be used for an entirely different room. And it can even be expanded with a lot more room, which I'm going to show you guys in a moment. So we got this huge double space, right? Let's now go in here, and here there's a left. I can live with that. If I got some heavy stuff, it takes me up, or I got some big quick steps I can use into this room. Now, I don't know why this room needs to be this big, but let that lie for a moment, because there's bigger issues afoot here, right? So let's whoa. Okay. Go down again by the stairs. So now let's get to the other side here, where the same entrance is. And what do you know? There's a lift and stairs again, and a room the same size. And they're like within a few feet of each other, like here versus here. There's no reason to have two. So this entire side of the ship could be converted into 2-3 more rooms on the ship. And you would actually feel like, oh, that makes sense. What do you guys think?
Yeah, you could get a lot more versatility in there if you just drop one of those, or that one side, just make it into something else.
Exactly. And tell me, what modern ship or vehicle has that much double things right next to each other? I mean, that does not even make sense.
Mm-hmm.
The only way that makes any sense to me is if it's common on the ship for multiple people to want to go upstairs at the same time. So instead of waiting in line to climb the ladder, 3 or 4 people can get on the elevator to go up, but you certainly don't need 2 of those rooms on the ship.
But on an industrial ship, you don't need to rush that fast from your sleeping quarters. It's like, we're not talking about the real military ship, because this is the basic ship design as well.
Unless?
So we're not talking, it's not designed for military purpose.
Unless you're carrying something heavy.
Yeah, but still, you wouldn't be up here if you are in the progress of doing work, right?
No, I mean, if you want to go upstairs or downstairs, you're an engineer, you're making repairs, you're doing whatever, and you want to go upstairs from downstairs, and you're carrying something heavy, you take the elevator.
Yeah,
but you still don't need 2 of them.
Exactly, and that's my point. That's the duality of it. You don't need both. And then you can take this entire room and all the hallway downstairs and convert into something else. And then we have, right next to it, we got this thing, which is basically a room that I hope has some use in the future. But besides that, it's just a access to the crawlways. And that stair we saw down below. And if you took this side, you could basically incorporate this room in whatever other layout you're doing with this hallway. So then you can reclaim all this space from here, like this bar that shows here, this space here, all the way in here, all the way in here, and then all the way downstairs. You can reclaim that for other rooms if you did that. That's a lot of wasted space, in my opinion.
What would you put there instead?
Well, again, as I said, we have options for workshop. Things break on industrial ships. You need ability to fix it, right? So you need a workshop. You need a medical room in case people get wounded. You might need samples because we're talking about fuel and stuff like that. You might need to test it out. So there are lots of options and just modular things, more living quarters, more other things. There's so many things you can do with it, I'd say. But that's basically, when you got so much free space, well, let's start looking at that at some point and see what can we else use it for. But it needs to go. It makes no sense to me.
At the very least, they could expand the cafeteria on that deck and make it bigger.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure the cafeteria needs to be bigger, but there definitely needs to be changes, because that is just so much extra that's not needed. So then we have the rest of this hallway. Yeah, again, industrial ship, it doesn't need to be this big, but well, let's not get into that part. So let's take the cafeteria, right? There's definitely more than enough room to feed the entire crew and visitors. I like that. Kitchen is big. Can't really complain about that. Needs more cabinets for stuff, but besides that, yeah, I'm quite okay with that. I would like to see couches or something here and here in the corners, so you can also convert it, and then perhaps a few screens, so you can use it for entertainment room as well. Like if you could sit here and then have a screen that drops down here in the middle, that could be turned towards the dining table, and then later on over here. And we got the tables in the the constellation that folds up and stuff like that. So you could do a lot of things. So this can be going between pure kitchen, eating quarters, to relaxing and just being social. What do you guys think about that?
That was one of my thoughts too. I mean, this is a long haul ship. You're going to be out in the middle of nothing for a really long time. There's the basic needs and everything, but there's no lounge or recreation or anything like that, you know.
Exactly.
Well, I think as far as the theme of the ship goes, when CIG made it, you got to know that the artists were thinking, okay, it's a military ship. You know, this is a converted military ship, so
but it's
it kind of makes sense that they don't have the creature comforts. But
yeah, but that's the thing.
Since
that's
it's
the
a conversion, they probably should have included those. Yeah,
it's no conversion. There's like the only thing that was converted was the colors. So this is the
I mean the types of conversions. I mean, it's like adding things like a big screen so you can watch movies, and sofas in the corner, and those kinds of comforts. It makes sense for them not to be there when it's a military ship. But if it's a civilian ship, then they should have converted it that way.
Yeah, and there's nothing like that on the civilian version either. It's the same thing. It's only the colors that's different everywhere. So that's I'm kind of reviewing this and the base layout, not the military version, because we don't really have the military version besides that. But yeah, it needs to be something else in the kitchen for long hauls.
It's got a skylight.
Yeah, which, well, I guess that's okay. I mean, it's pretty cool sitting here and looking at the sky, the stars passing by. I can definitely dig that. But then we have the captain's quarters here. The meeting room needs chairs. Like, seriously, needs chairs. You don't go military and have people just stand up in front of you. You don't do that. So yeah, that's one of the things. And yeah, there's still a lot of wasted space on the walls. And then we have, of course, the bedroom. And again, I'm like, so much wasted space here. Look at how wide this thing is. And the only thing over here is a window that I apparently got pulled out through. Okay, fair enough. So the Starfarer's windows pulls you out. Noted.
Nice.
But anyways, there's so much wasted space in the bathroom and the hallway there. And I really think they should put cupboards there instead. Places to decorate, to put stuff, memorabilia and stuff like that. That definitely needs to be there. What do you guys think about the bedroom?
Yeah, there's a lot.
I think
a
it's
lot,
way too big.
A lot of empty space.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's way too big. If, does it even have a desk in it? I don't remember.
No, there's this desk here in the main room, but in the bedroom itself, there's like, why would you have that much wasted space? I mean, again, you would definitely want a cabinet of some sort with your personal gear over there, or something else, or even a table you can sit at, and I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking a table or a desk in front of that window.
Yeah, because here,
hanger flare.
Yeah, hanger flares and stuff like that. Because in here, sure, I can live with. This is his workspace, and in here is his relax space. But then there needs to be either a couch, a table, or something else. Like, there needs to be something besides just wasted space. That's not normal. And of course, we have the bathroom again, really big, very wide. But yeah, need to do something about that side. That's for sure. So now we come to one of my pet peeves about this ship. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beds, right? 6 crew member. 1, 2.
You got to remember, we're watching this on a delay. So.
I know. I'm just going through things. 1, 2, 3, 4 lockers. So we got a sleeping spot for 6 crewmen and 4 lockers, right? Why 4 lockers? Where's the two last ones? And it's not because the lockers are shared, because you can clearly see it's only room for 1 inside the locker. Where did the last 2? There needs to be 2 more.
And each bed has an overhead compartment too.
Yeah, but that's for each bed. This has no shared room. I could understand it if both sides had the same hangers and stuff, so you had each your own, but it's not. It's like 1 locker, 1 person.
Maybe those lockers on the walls, the tall ones, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are equipment lockers, and the storage area above each bed is intended for like your uniforms and your personal effects and stuff.
Yeah, but then there's only for gear. There's only 4, which means you still have to share.
No, I mean like ship gear, like mop buckets and tools and things like that. Not personal equipment.
But no, it's actually clothes. You can see there's clothes hangers and there's small shelves, so meant to stack clothing.
Oh well, then yeah, they just screwed the pooch.
Yeah,
they messed up.
Exactly. So that's one thing, right? And then they have this tiny seat here. There needs to be a table as well. They need to be able to, let's say you run a tight ship, you got a captain in there in his room, and these guys can only sit in here in the kitchen. They want a place where the captain is not coming, right? There needs to be a table in here as well, so you can sit down at least and chat with your friends while you're off duty, so the captain doesn't come and annoy you. That's my thinking. But of course, there's the toilet part. Well, the captain got his own toilet, so he doesn't need to come in here ever. So yeah, you definitely need a table here. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think a table in front of that couch makes a lot of sense, especially if it's one like on the Connie where it comes up out of the floor.
Yeah, or even just get it down from the ceiling, like a floating table that can come down on wires. Anything works, as long as you get a table here. And then perhaps a view screen on the wall. Again, status of the ship, entertainment, things like that. I think that would be a good idea. And then we come to this area here. I guess this is where you change clothes and go shower, right? And again, 4 lockers. 4. To a room where 6 people can sleep. Yeah. And then we have, of course, the segregated bathrooms. On a tiny ship, you do not put in separate sex bathrooms.
Honestly, I think they just did that to be cute.
Yeah, but seriously, I can live with 2 bathrooms. I don't mind that. But doing it separate sex, fuck no. most people or most places that has this tiny a crew do not have separate 6 bathrooms.
Maybe the female toilet has a bidet.
No. And yes, men could use a bidet too. So.
Yeah.
Besides, have you ever gotten your ass washed? Oh. But that's beside the point. But seriously, this need to go. These need to be just 2 standard bathrooms, so 2 people can be in the shower and do things, or even a shower stall and a bathroom stall. So 2 people can take showers, 2 people can take bathrooms. Like you need to learn how to do things more efficiently.
The military way.
Yeah, because this doesn't work. Again, lots of wasted space and only 4 lockers. It need to be 6. They need to get this better. So let's head downstairs again to the last thing I really want to talk about. So we got the other end of the ship, right? So again, we've now established that half of this side here is basically wasted space, and the other half is the one you actually need to use, because all of them technically lead to the second area, right? So here we got 2 more escape pods. From downstairs, they're quite difficult to get to. From upstairs, they're okay. But again, why would you have escape pods near a place where you won't normally be? Like, you're either going to be in the cargo hold, you're going to be outside working, you're going to be in the cockpit, or you're going to be up in the mess area, right? You need to have those near that, not far away. So yeah, these could probably be better placed. But again, space on ships, where can it be and stuff like that. So let's not nitpick too much. Let's just put that in. But yeah, so we got half this space here, which is basically superfluous. All the way I walked here could be used for something else. And then we have, of course, the power room in here. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a bit place here. But if textures are still broken, oh, there's a seat there. I kind of like that. We got the gravity generator room. I'm okay with that. And then we got the other side, which again, it's the same thing as the other side. You don't need double. You can get away with 1 side. Any input on that before we go to the airlock?
As far as the escape pods go, I just think that it's smart to have escape pods on multiple decks on a ship, because everybody's,
definitely.
When you come under attack, everybody's not going to be on the same floor at the same time,
Exactly.
So the placement of the escape pods makes sense to me. And as far as having, a maintenance room on both sides of the gravity generator room, the only thing that I can think of why maybe they did do that on purpose is for the sake of redundancy. If the controls are broken or smashed on one side, or you're boarded and things get shot up on one side, you can go to the other side and still maintain systems.
Yeah, but you don't need that many entry points, though. Like, currently I can get to this area from so many different sides. Like, this room here has 3 exit points. Like, I can get in from outside, I can get in from the one side or the other side as well.
I'm waiting for the delay.
Yeah, so that's way too many in my opinion. Again, you can easily make 1 door on each side and let that be it. But 3 is way too much as well. But yeah.
No, maybe not, because if it's if that room is centrally located on the ship, you don't want to have to walk all the way around the ship just to get to the door.
Yeah, true. But if it's that way, then there's probably going to be more wrong as well. And besides, the reactor room itself only has 1 side door, right? And the gravity generator only has that extra door because, hey, it fit in with the ship, because the airlock is right next to it, which again doesn't make sense. But yeah, I'm still thinking the entire one side of the middle layer of the ship it needs to go. So that brings us to the airlock, which is basically what looks like to me to have been the main airlock, right? There are room for 3 spacesuits. And there's 2 elevators that go outside. Again, we're not talking industrial grade elevators where you take a lot of things in and out. We're talking a simple person elevator. And this is actually an airlock as well. So this, once this elevator goes down, it goes out into space. Which means if you go into this room and this elevator is opening, this area here is in space, where the spacesuits are kept. Again, that does not make sense to me. Seriously, do not make sense.
Maybe CIG just thought that because of the nature of the ship, because it's a service-oriented vehicle, you know, it's a refueler, right? It's a refinery refueler.
And see, I can look up and see the opening.
Everybody that's on the ship is working all the time, so they're always wearing a spacesuit.
Yeah, they're not thinking fully, right? So right now I've got the elevator down, and I can see straight up into the room, right?
Into the hangar, yeah.
Yeah. Outside in the hangar, which means then this area here is an open space, right? And there's no double door here, except then this area here would be converted into. God damn it! But then this area here would be on its own in being the airlock, right? But that means you don't have access to the spacesuits. So spacesuits needs to be in an area before the airlock. And then you need to have an airlock like over here. There would be a door here that you can go through and then step into the elevator and go down into space. And again, you don't need two elevators.
Or at least the elevator needs to have a door of its own. Yeah.
Exactly. So, definitely again, wasted space. And this here, spend the space on making this the main airlock. You don't need so many different airlocks all over the ships. Especially not on a working ship. You want one main airlock, you want one backup. And you already got the back door as well. So
yeah, me personally, I've never been a fan of the idea that you have to go out onto a catwalk into space to deal with delivering fuel. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I can look over that part for now. But yeah, definitely there needs to be some redesigning of all of the interior of the Starfarer. We're not going to go into all the walkways inside because I think they're okay. And then of course we got the last part here. Actually, yeah. So we've talked about how the different two sides of the ship, one entire side of the front side quadrant is basically superfluous. Now we got the last part here. So these are the long booms that go back, where you have some crawlways and stuff like that. And down below you got all the fuel pods. And then all the way down here, there's an entry for the gunner's mount, right? So this entire thing here is basically only to allow you to get there without putting on a spacesuit. That's the only reason I can see of wasting this space with a hallway. And again, all of this, it's got cargo netting on, which means it should be able to be used for a lot of other things, right? I mean, there should be something else you can use this entire space for, because you got the walkway downstairs, and let's go down there. And since you already got the outside walkway here, why not just make some elevator up here that allows you to go up there in the turret or something like that, or like you can get in a turret and it will slide out, or something else, or convert the sides into it. What do you guys think about that?
Waiting for.
I think they could have had another hallway that went from the left nacelle to the right nacelle above the catwalk between the turrets.
Yeah.
But as far as removing the hallway to get to them, it seems to me like it's necessary, because underneath that hallway that you're walking down is where all the fuel tanks are suspended.
Yeah, the pylons still need to be there, but you can use the hallway for something else. But I've been thinking the same thing you have. Keep one hallway, and then instead just put a hallway that goes right across here to the other one, and then convert the rest of that walkway or hallway into something else, like some rooms or something. Like imagine you could walk all the way up here and then go across there to the other one and get into it, and then the part, let's say we then switch over to the other hallway, then you got an entry point here for a room that goes down to here, perhaps stops here. So then you have one room here, and then from the other side of the other hallway you can get a room that starts here and go all the way up here. So suddenly you got multiple use of rooms, right? And you haven't lost access at all. You've lengthened the accessibility by, I don't know, 3-5 seconds. That's it. And it's not like it's a combat ship where you need to have those seconds on it instantly. So what do you guys think? Could you do something else with these hallways?
How to make the hallways more useful?
Mm-hmm. Because to me, they're wasted space.
Put 2 turrets on top of each one of them. Seriously.
Yeah. Besides the weapon points. I mean, I'm talking interior right now. We need something else because this is wasted space. On an industrial ship, this could be used for something else.
I would definitely add another hallway in between those two, though. Mm-hmm. That way you're not, you're saving time and being more efficient instead of having to walk all the way back around and make that big U.
Mm-hmm.
Well, think about it like this. The fuel pods themselves are suspended underneath these hallways, 3 on each side, right? If it were mine to do from scratch, we're just talking about this section of the ship, that catwalk that's outside, I would get rid of it completely. I would remove it completely gone, and dispensing and taking on fuel and all those controls
would you put
for
up here?
everything that would be in these 2 hallways, and they would be tank specific.
I like that. So
you would have the 3 starboard tanks and the 3 port side tanks, and controls directly above each one. This is, I'm dealing with tank number 1 on the port side, and we're dispensing fuel from this, and I'm standing at these controls, and that's where I need to be, and that's the only place you can be to do it.
I kind of like that idea. I mean, that's easy to implement. There's the room for the consoles and everything. So yeah, no reason why not having that there. I like that idea. Actually, that's a really important one. So let's sure CID definitely hears about that. Yeah, I'm thinking that's the most I have to say about this ship. Do you guys have anything else to add?
Can I say one thing about the outside of the ship?
It's not within the the way I was thinking, but yeah, sure.
Well, it's been my biggest complaint about the Starfarer from the first time I saw the concept art.
Okay.
Why in the world do you have the largest refueling vessel in the game designed this way, where it's got 8 huge, unarmored, explosive fuel tanks exposed to space? Or just anybody can come up and shoot it and blow you up?
Well, for one thing,
those tanks should be enclosed.
Well, they are enclosed by shield.
Okay.
The military variant, which is supposedly to go into at least a bit more near the front, it's got heavier shield, heavier armor. So by that fold, the tanks are technically a bit better armored and a lot more heavily shielded.
So the tanks themselves have armor on them?
Well, that's kind of the thinking, right? You don't see extra armor on the graphical design, so we have to believe that it's underneath somewhere. And that probably includes a tank. That's my thinking.
Yeah, as long as they're armored, because from the outside they just look like, somebody could fly up in a Hornet and shoot the tank and blow it up. Yeah.
But yeah, the ship is supposedly more heavily armored and more heavily shielded. So I'm guessing that goes for everything in some point. But yeah, but that's the current thinking we have about the interior layout of the Starfarer, and that goes for both variants because they're the same. And still, personally, I'm very disappointed that the only thing that really changed is the supposedly heavier weapons, shields, and armor, and not the interior. does not look like a military ship on the inside. Just changing the color is not good enough either. I kind of like the Drake ships and stuff like that, the way they look inside, they look military. I mean, seriously, military.
I agree.
That look, that was what I hoped for when I originally hoped for the Gemini. And the layout inside, it's not good enough, guys. It's definitely not good enough. There is so many things that do not make sense, that would never be on either a military ship or an industrial ship. And you just go like, why? You can easily remove it. And that's why we've made this video for you guys. Hopefully, CIG, you can be inspired by it and say, oh, now that we've created so many more larger ships, we now are ready to go back and redesign the first one we did, which is the Starfarer. We hope you do it. Thank you for watching, and see you guys around the verse. Or should we do that? Around the verse. Okay, so let's